always from the heart of the city, and now on demand 24/7 on the CHFI website. This is the soundtrack to The Courage of Hercules. And I'm Don Jackson, around the world on the internet. Atticus Finch in To Kill a Mockingbird, the Pulitzer Prize-winning novel by Harper Lee, published in 1960, said, "I wanted you to see what real courage is, instead of getting the idea that courage is a man with a gun in his hand. It's when you know you're licked before you begin, but you begin anyway, and you see it through no matter what." Courage this hour with Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Amanda Marshall and Birmingham, Amy Sky, and I Will Take Care of You, and 5 for Fighting with Superman. And I'm Don Jackson with Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. As it said in a very old edition of the Britannica, Hercules, greatest of the Greek heroes, was worshipped by the Greeks and Romans as a god. They represented him in sculpture as a huge bearded man carrying a club and wearing a lion's skin on his shoulders. He is pictured as swift to anger and immensely strong. As the son of Zeus and Alamane, a mortal princess, he was half god and half mortal. Hera, the divine wife of Zeus, hated Hercules. Unquote. It's interesting to note that Hera was the long-suffering wife of Zeus. And this would not be his first infidelity, nor his last. Hera was the real cause behind his 12 labors, and a thorn in his side for the rest of his life. This writer goes on to say, after completing the labors, Hercules performed other brave deeds. He freed Prometheus, who had been chained to a rock, and accompanied the Argonauts in their search for the Golden Fleece. Unquote. He has always been the mythical example of courage and strength. Cultures around the world all have their mythical heroes, examples they hold up in their folklore, hoping to inspire real-life courage. March the 11th, according to Nigel Pennick's The Pagan Book of Days, is, and I quote, the day of the semi-divine hero Hercules. It is a day of strength and superhuman feats of courage. Unquote. It's the 11th of March, 2010, and I thought we might be courageous enough this hour to realize that one doesn't have to be half a god in order to find the courage needed to face the labors and challenges this life puts in our path. As Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote, the hero is no braver than an ordinary man, but he is brave 5 minutes longer. Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Bruce Cockburn, Wondering Where the Lions Are, and Mariah Carey with Hero. And I'm Don Jackson with Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. And speaking of lions, consider the cowardly lion. In the L. Frank Baum classic tale, The Wizard of Oz. As Michael Patrick Hearn said in the special edition, the annotated Wizard of Oz, the Centennial Edition, published in 2000 by W. Norton and Company in New York, and I quote, "The value of their journey to the Great Oz does not lie in the gifts of a brain, a heart, and courage. The journey itself is more important than its conclusion, for it forced them to discover within themselves what they always possessed. They had just to test these virtues through experience. They learned how to use the gifts of the Great Oz, and in doing that, they never really needed what he had to give them." Unquote. And this classic quote from Reinhold Niebuhr has always inspired me. "God, grant me the serenity to accept things I cannot change, courage to change things I can, and wisdom to know the difference." Lovers and Other Strangers, from iTunes and CHFI.com. Neil Young and A Heart of Gold, Michael Buble, Lost, and Whitney Houston, and I Look to You. I'm Don Jackson with Lovers and Other Strangers, from iTunes and CHFI.com. It was Lao Tzu who wrote, "Being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage." Lovers and Other Strangers, from iTunes and CHFI.com. Shaye with Beauty, and Elton John from The Lion King, and Can You Feel the Love Tonight? I'm Don Jackson with Lovers and Other Strangers, from iTunes and CHFI.com. A strong woman isn't afraid of anything, but a woman of strength shows courage in the midst of her fear. An excerpt from A Strong Woman versus a Woman of Strength. Richard Leader, author, speaker, and counselor, from the February-March 1998 issue of Fast Company magazine, said, and I quote, "If people could live their lives over again, they would take more risks. In relationships, they would have been more courageous." And in expressing their creative side, they would have taken more chances. I think it was Oliver Wendell Holmes who said, "Most of us go to our graves with our music still inside us." Almost everyone said they felt most alive when they took risks. Aliveness came from learning, growing, stretching, exploring. Unquote. Richard Leader, author, speaker, and counselor. For courage does not only mean feats of bravery. Courage also means taking chances in your own life. Like the courage to change careers, begin a family, stand up for what you believe in. Lovers and Other Strangers, from iTunes and CHFI.com. The Eagles and Tequila Sunrise, and John Mayer, Waiting on the World to Change. I'm Don Jackson with Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. It's the 11th of March, 2010. In the ancient past, this was a day set aside to honor Hercules, the Greek hero. They honored this legend by summoning up the courage to perform acts of bravery. What can you be courageous about today? Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com.
Just slow down.
Good night, sweet dreams. I'm Don Jackson.